we move on to the nodes. So the lunar nodes are the point where the sun and moon cross over, where they're on the same plane, and so that's where eclipses happen. Eclipses are considered important turning points, and the nodes are considered part of our karma and fate and destiny. So if you buy the idea that we have more than one life, the south node represents what have we brought in from our previous lives. So that represents our comfort zone. We would rather stay there. We would rather stick with what we know, with what we've already learned. But if we want to have some sort of spiritual growth in this life, then we need to move towards our north node. So our north node is calling to us. So the south node is currently in Virgo and the north node is currently in Pisces. So we're comfortable with earthly things, with practical things, with just trying to sort through information and organising things. And what we're called to do is go more with the flow. We don't need to control everything. We are not in control of everything. We need to appreciate that there's a higher power, there are higher forces at work. We can take the load off, go with the flow, follow the signs, feel connected, float downstream rather than trying to swim against the tide. That would be the lesson of the North Node in Pisces. Now the nodes have roughly a 19-year cycle, so every approximately 19 years they go back to where they were when you were born. And guess who is having a nodal return this Wednesday, which means the nodes will be exactly in the same place they were when this person was born, and that is our glorious leader, or our former glorious leader, Nicola Sturgeon. Now she's having a difficult week, isn't she? So I was having a look at her chart, I can't really resist it, and it's very interesting. First of all, she has a Scorpio ascendant. So ascendant is the face that you show to the world, and Scorpio is at best very, very private, plays its cards very close to the chest, and at worst is very, very secretive. So you decide which it is. And interestingly, Scorpio is symbolised by the scorpion, which has a sting in the tail. She's got a sun in Cancer, and as we spoke earlier, Cancer is symbolised by the crab, and the crab has very nippy claws. And isn't it interesting that with a Scorpio ascendant and a sun in Cancer, her nickname was Wee Nippy. And also, the sun in Cancer, so that's where she shines, and Cancer is very maternal, and she described herself as the chief mammy during COVID times. But her moon, that rules Cancer, her moon is in Aquarius, so very detached. Air moon people, they're more rational and detached. You know, they more think through their feelings rather than, you know, express them through tears and this, that, and the next thing. So quite often air moon people can come across as quite cold and quite detached, which I think is what other people say as well. Interestingly, she has a Leo midheaven. So midheaven is, if your ascendant is the front door of your house, the Leo is your balcony. So if you're the royal family coming out on the balcony to greet your public, if you're Eva Prone having your balcony moment, that is Leo in flavour. And Leo loves attention, loves praise, loves feedback, and in fact not just loves it but needs it. It's the very oxygen that a Leo breathes. So in her public she needs to get attention and she needs people to like her. She will be utterly crushed by anyone not liking her. Also, another thing worth noticing, she's got Jupiter in the 12th house. So Jupiter is the great benefic and 12th is the kind of spiritual house. So that's almost like having a guardian angel, some sort of guardian angel in the spiritual world protecting you in this one. But the important thing is the nodes. So her south node, although she's got a top heavy chart, so most of her planets are at the top of the chart, and the top of the chart represents out there in the world. So people that have a top heavy chart need to be out in the world, need to be doing something in the world, and need to be getting public recognition. So she has that pattern in her chart, but her south node, her previous life, is in the 10th house, so career, public profile. So that is where she's comfortable. Perhaps in her previous life she had a public profile as well. But her north node, her karmic calling in this life, is to her 4th house. So home, family, close tribe, inner work. So that is what she's been called to. She's comfortable in public, having a public role, being in the public profile, but she's been called to the 4th house. And she's been called to Pisces of being more connected, taking a more spiritual path. And on Wednesday, the nodes in her chart will be exactly aligned with the nodes in the sky. So that calling will be very, very strong. Now also there's a thing called a progress chart, which is about your inner life. A transit chart is where the planets just now are meeting your birth chart, and that symbolises external events, whereas a progress chart represents inner events. So in her progress chart at the moment, her progress moon is in the third house of communication. So she's writing books, she's doing book tours, but within 2 months that moon will have moved into her fourth house. So again, her internal need is for home and family and only close tribe. So, will she be announcing her retiral from public life on Wednesday or within the next few months? Let's watch this space.